Zach back again with another live. No, it's a little dark in here. It's like 9 p.m. where I'm at. So, it's just how it is. But, anyways, breaking news, guys. Some interesting stuff. And I saw this coming from miles away, from months away. But, I guess it was hard to, you don't want to bring something up when it hasn't been actually, I guess, found out yet, or when charges haven't been laid yet, right? That's why we say innocent until proven guilty. And actually, I just want to say everything's my opinion here. All alleged and everyone we discuss is innocent until proven guilty. Perfect segue for that. But anyways, the breaking news today, guys, is of a streamer. Now, this streamer is also a 4-time world champion boxer. Now, this is something that has been, I would say, repeat offenses in his past. You can look at his past, and I feel bad for putting this out there, even because he has accomplished so much. So it is going to drop him back down a peg. But if you don't learn from your mistakes in life, and you keep repeating them, God will keep sending these things at you, these series of events at you, the same ones. And if you don't learn from them, you keep repeating them and you fall victim to them. And that's also a perfect segue into what I'm about to say next, because the charges that were filed are on 4-time world champion boxer Adrien Broner. Now, he is being sued for sexual battery and assault. Big charges. Now, apparently, the information that I'm getting from my sources are telling me this happened around June 2nd, and this is out of Miami. Now, the person's name hasn't been leaked yet. I think I know her first name. Don't want to put it out there yet. I'm going to wait until this gets a little more, this case develops a little bit more, because, guys, this is breaking news. This has just been reported approximately probably less than an hour ago. So wanted to bring that here with you guys. And you guys probably know this person now from the streaming world. He's a big time streamer. You guys might have even seen the clips on your YouTube shorts. And that is because he's streaming with a person named Dean the Great. Now, Dean the Great has been a streamer for years now. Now, Dean the Great and Adrien Broner, they go out and they do their thing, right, in the club. But they've also brought the club back home, because if anybody has seen their streams for the past, I would say, I don't know, a couple months now, basically it's been a big party. Now, they have switched it up recently. They went to a warehouse and basically turned it into one big gym. But the thing is if you watch their streams, they're doing the same thing at this quote unquote gym that they were doing back at the party house and the Airbnbs and all of that. So let me read some messages, guys. What's up, Nani? Is that your name? It's an interesting name. Said hi. How are you doing? Charm said hi, Zach. What did I miss? And Programmer said hi. What case are you talking about? I'm lost, said Charm. So, guys, if you just missed this, because this is brand new, the breaking news is of 4-time world champion boxer Adrien Broner. Now, some people know him as a boxer. Some people know him for maybe his mistakes, unfortunately. And just recently, mainly people have known him for streaming with streamer Dean the Great. Yes, that is his name, right? But they've basically became a duo, and they've even been wearing matching outfits for the past, I would say, month and a half, maybe even longer than that. I'm probably giving them a little bit of credit here. But if you're just joining in, please like the video and sub up, guys. Helps the channel. And yes, this is breaking news. This has just been reported about an hour ago now. So I'm here to break it to y'all. You guys are going to see this everywhere now. He is being sued for sexual battery and assault, unfortunately. unfortunately for the victim, and unfortunately for Adrien Broner, because he's been repeating the same mistakes now for years. But the problem now is he has a camera in his face 24/7. Interestingly enough, apparently, because I've been paying attention to them streaming, because it's hard not to. If you're a creator, you've probably seen their clips on your channel on the YouTube Shorts, and if you're not a creator, you probably have also seen their clips, because all they do is stream. They've been doing this thing called a locked-in-a-thon, where they were doing it for 45 days straight. I'm talking not the camera has been on for hours and hours and hours, 24 hours, 365 days at a time, and they were going to do 45 days. But apparently yesterday, I would say, or the day before that at nighttime, it was one of those, they stopped this because there was a lot of beef going on. So they have a lot going on, and Adrien Broner has always put himself in crazy situations. He's always been in these crazy situations. I don't know how else to put it, right? But he's been boxing since he was 6 years old, and I would say the good part of his story happened at his younger age, right? And he started to become a boxer, and he said that he didn't have his first drink until after he won his first world title. But if you ask friends close to him, they will say, no, that's not true. But maybe Adrien Broner is saying that when he won his first world title, that's when the drinking began to become a problem. Maybe that's what he identifies that with. So that's kind of how I would summarize this. Now, once again, this is just my opinion here, but these charges have been filed. And once again, I do not know the person's full name, and I wouldn't leak it even if I did right now. Just saying. Let's see. Charm said spelling of his name, please. I want to look into this case. So spelling of the name is Adrien space Broner, Broner. It's Adrien Broner, 4-time world champ. Now his story is one. His younger story is one straight out of a movie, right? And a good part of a movie, not the bad part that we're seeing now. The good part is he came out of the trenches, he came from nothing, and he became a world champion boxer. The bad part is it seems like he's let his demons take a hold of him along with the devils around him. You guys just hear what I said? That's pretty powerful right there. Because the devils around him could be the demons amongst him. Same type of thing. So we got a lot going on right here. And also, the man he's hanging out with, Dean the Great, I can't say he's been doing the same exact things, but if you watch the streams, you might say that. Now, if you want my real opinion on this, I think it's absolutely tragic, because he allegedly just got a deal from one of these sponsorships and from one of these streaming platforms as well, worth millions of dollars. And he went from being completely broke, homeless, after being a world champion. So his story is a roller coaster. So he's had everything, he's lost it. He was about to get it back again. Seems like he was starting to, but then bam, once again, we have this happen. Charm, sorry, Zach, Wi-Fi cut off. Did you say Adrien Broner? Is that the correct spelling of his name? Going outside, but I will be listening to your live. Yes, that is the correct spelling. That's the name of the case. And guys, I will be updating this case constantly because, like I said, I've been following these guys streaming because I've followed Adrien Broner's career, his whole boxing career. And then once I recognized that he quote unquote fell off, because that's what everybody wants to call it, even though somebody's going through incredibly hard times behind the scenes. And he also was going through addiction problems and alcoholism, right? But this is coming from somebody who's followed his whole story, right? From when he won his first world title around that time till now. The ups, the downs, everything in between, all the interviews that he's done, right? He's went on D4vd. He's done plenty of interviews before he became a streamer. But somehow the streamer Dean the Great found Adrien Broner. Somehow they connected, right? And once that happened, Adrien Broner got put right back in the limelight. And what they were doing is, I would say probably a few months ago to a little bit more than that, they were streaming all the time. They did a 30-day straight stream, and I think they're doing this on the streaming platform Kick. Now, I don't have that. I've never used it, but I know the younger generation uses it a lot. And yeah, I'm just not tapped in with that. However, I do know that's the streaming service they've been using. So I guess if you guys want to follow what they're doing, that's where to follow it. Also, plenty of people will be restreaming it and putting it on YouTube as well. And that's exactly where I found the content, because I'd be doing my thing. I'd be researching all these cases, and then I'd see their shorts pop up because they're in the algorithm so much because they stay on 24/7. So somebody is always restreaming their content, as well as them themselves doing their content and doing their lives as well. But yeah, so once I realized that Adrien Broner was a streamer now, I was like, okay, I'm going to see what he's doing. I'll figure out if he's doing good. But then I saw that he was partying 24/7, and I'm like, oh man, something's bound to happen. Something bad's bound to happen. And that's just the realest part of me, because, you know, watching his story and then throwing him in the middle of a whole bunch of people in the party scene that's going on all the time, every single day, every night, and sometimes in the daytime, because, you know, they're always filming. So they're gonna try to one up each other and, you know, do stuff for the cameras, right? And Adrien Broner is the type of person that he don't give a fudge about the camera. He'll do whatever he wants on camera. He has that narcissistic type of personality where the camera and him is basically like he's whoever's videotaping him. I feel like he thinks they should be lucky, right, to be videotaping him. That's the narcissistic personality within him, right? And that's just because I've seen his story. I can kind of calculate who he is, right, from afar. Don't know him personally, but know his story very well. Always been tapped into all the boxers. And he came up around Floyd Money Mayweather. And I know y'all have heard about Floyd. Floyd's going through his own issues right now. And that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother day. Maybe we could talk about that. Today we're talking about Adrien Broner. Today we're talking about Dean the Great. And we're talking about what they're going through. I say there because they've labeled themselves a duo. And guys, if you go back and watch their streams, I mean, they're dressing the exact same way, right? So I think they just told the manager, order 2 of everything. You know, my size is a large, his is a medium, or maybe his is an extra small, because Dean is like, you know, super, super short, right? But nonetheless, I'm just throwing that in there. I just think they said, order 2 of everything, guys, constantly. But I could see this from afar. I knew something bad was going to happen in the mix of all this happening, because like I said, you can't throw them in the middle of a party scene. Now, Dean the Great, he just wiles out all the time, and that's why they go by Crash Out Boys. All right, let's see. Charm said, I haven't been watching boxing, but I used to watch boxing with my parents. Nice. Yeah, I think a lot of people grew up on boxing with their parents, right? Just watching the fights back in the days, you know, the Tyson fights, the Ali fights. You know, that's when boxing was real. Nowadays, you got these streamers thinking they're boxers, and credit to them for stepping in the ring, doing what they do. but it gives people a false perception, because then the people watching them have a hard time separating the real ones from the fake, because they're watching so much fake, they think it's real. You see what I'm saying right there? And that can go for a lot of things in life, a lot of things. Charm said, my dad loved boxing. We were all big wrestling fans, but I got away from wrestling after our daughter moved out, and my mom knew all the wrestlers. She was a hoot. Yeah. I think a lot more people back in the day watched boxing than they do now. And if they do now, they're not watching many of the real ones, because it's a lot of the younger fans now. Same thing with wrestlers. But you know, I grew out of that at a really young age. Once I found out that WWE was like super fake and stuff. I shouldn't say fake, because the training is real, but you know what I mean. Scripted's a better word. But once I saw that, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll still watch it, but I just didn't. I grew out of it, but it was fun for its time. Fun for its time. My favorite wrestler was Triple H back in the day. And I don't know. I think with this whole thing, it should be learned as a lesson. And once I saw that they were making everybody sign NDAs, I'm talking about Adrien Broner and Dean the Great here. They were making everybody sign NDAs before they went into their house, before they went into their party spot, before they went into this new warehouse that they turned into a gym, a boxing ring / party spot. I also seen Bobby Green. Shout out to Bobby Green. He's a UFC fighter. He was there yesterday, and Dean didn't want to spar, man. He was getting all frustrated that Dean didn't want to spar him. He came there to spar, and Dean was like, nah, but Dean's supposed to be training for a boxing fight, you know? Let's see. China said, I don't watch sports, not because I don't like them, probably more so due to a lack of time. Yeah, I still watch sports, even though I feel like sometimes they rig certain events. Don't get me canceled now. Don't get me canceled for saying that. I'm just playing, but you know, I've thought that for a long time. Definitely. Like, I feel like they mix, kind of like I was saying earlier, they mix a little bit of the fake in with the real, and then you can't really tell what's going on. What's up, Dazed? You back again? You gonna be good tonight? You gonna be good? Don't think I forgot. Chime said you're live kicked out, so I missed some. Oh yeah, no worries, no worries. We'll be going live for a while. Yeah, Busta, what's up? Y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. You don't even have to be, because I know, right? They don't call me psychic for nothing, right? Charm, I really do like hockey, but live, I used to play volleyball quite a bit, and I love floor hockey when I was younger. Yeah, hockey's the one sport I didn't get into much. I liked skating, but I wasn't super good at it enough to play hockey. So I was like, yeah, we're probably not going to do that, you know? But it really depends. It really depends. But let's see. I still like watching it. I do like watching it. Shout out to the Bruins. Shout out to the Bruins. Nice emojis. Nice emojis. Hold on 1 second, guys. I got to get another drink. All right. Let's see. Charm said, I would love to get back into ice skating. I loved ice skating. Yeah, shout out to that. They have a big place in Boston you can go in the winter. It's pretty awesome. But anyways, guys, let's get back to what we were talking about tonight. The breaking news of the night is Adrien Broner is being sued for sexual battery and assault. And man, it's absolutely crazy. Like I said, my sources are telling me this happened around June 2nd, and this was out of Miami, apparently, out of Miami. And as this story develops, I'll be giving you more information. Don't spam the chat, Dazed. Right? But yeah, that's the big news. You know, it's absolutely terrible that this happened or allegedly happened, right? Because everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Let's not forget that. You know, because a lot of these cases we're dealing with a lot of real things that happen, right? And sometimes when people start to get in the limelight again, I'm not saying that this is what happened, but we're seeing Adrien Broner's rise once again. And it's sad that it's sad if he did this, it's sad if it happened, and if it didn't happen, it's still sad, right? All right. Let's see. Hold on 1 second, guys. Just a little warning for the chat. Just don't spam in the chat. That's all I ask. And as long as you're respectful, you're welcome in. But yeah, so for the people just joining in, it's the 4-time world champ Adrien Broner and the streamer now Adrien Broner, who is tied in with Dean the Great, who has been a streamer now for years, and they've labeled themselves the Crash Out Boys. Now, this is going to come back to bite them, I tell you, within this lawsuit. All of this video evidence is going to come back to bite them in this lawsuit. And I shouldn't say them so much as him, because the alleged lawsuit is going after Adrien Broner. I don't know if Dean the Great is going to ever be implicated within this. Now, he could be possible witness within this. I'm not sure of that. Now, maybe not. Maybe he just is completely left out of this, right? But the possibility is there. The possibility is there. But yeah, they've been doing everything 24/7, constantly online. So the camera's been constantly rolling. I'm going to try to throw another light on, I think, because it's super dark in here. Let me see if I can do that. I got 2 lights on over here. And I also have some more news about Lindsay Clancy as well. We're going to get into that because I know a lot of you guys have been following the Lindsay Clancy case as well. What's up, John? Welcome in. John said hi. But yeah, let me try to turn on this other light in here because it is super dark, even though I got 2 lights on. Okay, hopefully that helps a little bit. I'm going to hope that helps. Oh yeah, that looks way better. That looks way better. Let's hope that helps. Maybe I go like that. That looks better. But yeah, it's been super humid today. So I've had the windows open all day, just been chilling. But yeah, it's like 70 degrees still right now. It's just humid out. What up, John? You said you'd be good. We'll see. We'll see. I have my doubts with a name like that, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. Let's hope so. Hey, Kelly, welcome in. Nice to see you. Kelly says hi. Smokey here? Smokey, eh? Yeah, I heard about that. I heard there's a lot of smoke going on over there. And when there's smoke, there's fire. When there's fire, there's flame, right? Something like that. Goes a little something like that. John Jingle. There's a jingle for you, John. We on fire. And that's, once again, great segue for the fire and the smoke. And it was very smoky over here too in Massachusetts a few days ago. We're getting all that smoke from over there. I think it's coming from Canada, allegedly. Allegedly speaking, that has been in the news. But yeah, Days, welcome back. Smoking is bad. Yes, smoking is bad. Okay, sound like Mr. Mackey over here. Kelly said, yes, I don't care for the smoke. I like to jog every day and it bothers me. Yeah, that would bother me too if I was jogging every day again. Yep. John said, I'm Canadian. Fudging Canadians. No, nothing wrong with that. It's just I see it happens. It happens every year. There's always somewhere in the world every single year that there is a bunch of fires going on. A lot of the times it's allegedly California. I'm just saying, but let's see. But yeah, so for everyone just joining in, guys, the news of the night is 4-time world champion Adrien Broner has been sued, for sexual battery and assault, right? Innocent until proven guilty, right? And he has been a streamer now for a little bit of time. He has been starting to get that money. When you start to get that money again, people start to come out of the woodworks. However, this person allegedly was with Dean the Great and Adrien Broner. That's what I'm getting the news from my sources. Allegedly, they were with these two. And the details coming out of this are going to be a little bit strange, guys, when the details hit the mainstream. You're going to hear a lot of strange things within the details. I'm not going to break all of the news tonight, but I do want to break the majority of the news tonight when it comes to this lawsuit that is going on for Adrien Broner. Let's see. Kelly said, you look great tonight. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Charm said, live kicked again. So annoying. This forest fire was bad. I don't go outside for 2 days. So it was bad over there too, Charm. That's what I'm saying. I knew it would be over there because that's where they're saying a lot of it is coming from that area out that way. But no Days. There's no applications no more. We changed that up. There's a different method. No, I'm just I'm just playing with you guys. I love to joke over here. We throw a little bit of comedy amongst the true crime because a lot of the true crime can get so very brutal and so devastating. So sometimes there has to be a little bit of that comedy amongst such chaos, amongst such drama within these cases. Yeah, Kelly, you can joke and flirt at the same time. 2 things at the same damn time, right? Isn't that what Future said? Something like that. 2 things, same damn time. I don't know. Go back and listen to the song. But anyways, guys. I could see this coming from a mile away and probably from a different galaxy, right? Because what was going on in all of this streaming was, let me summarize it for you guys. They would have like a chill day. Maybe they would go to the gym, do a little bit of working out, something like that. And then they would go and party all night. And they would have the cameras on this groups all night. Mainly it would be on Adrien Broner and Dean the Great because they're the quote unquote main characters, the stars of the show. But of course, you would have all the girls that they were around as well. And allegedly, there's been a lot of these girls that had to sign NDAs because of how crazy it gets amongst the group of people. Now, what does this sound like to you guys? Who has been recently put in who was recently in the news for all of these parties and was a very famous person. Many looked at him as a businessman, a rapper. If you guys know yet, well, if you guys don't, you're about to. Let's talk about Diddy, because Diddy and Adrien Broner, they got a lot in common, let me tell you. They might not have some things in common, but they got a lot of things in common. We don't know if the baby oil was used in both the Adrien Broner situation, but we do know it was used in the Diddy situation. That's messed up to say, but it's in the documents. If you go back and look in the documents, then you'll definitely notice that in the Diddy situation. But we ain't talking too much about Diddy tonight. We talking about Adrien Broner. So this is going crazy right now. But this is breaking news, guys. This was just figured out recently. The charges were just filed, so it's pretty crazy right now, guys. I'm just reading some comments though, real quick. Let's see. Charm said, I agree. Some people are way too serious. We need humor in the world. Yeah, you're funny. Funny dazed. Wow. But anyways, guys, let's talk a little bit about the Lindsay Clancy situation, because this case is heating up. It is on fire right now. Everybody is being talked about. Amongst this case, we got the ex-husband or the ex-boyfriend. I forget which exactly, but regardless, the ex of Lindsay Clancy is or was begging the judge to not allow the public to see the majority of the evidence, because, well, I mean, would you guys want the public to see that evidence? I mean, I guess it really depends, right? And he doesn't. So he was, begging for that, and that's his right. So he has the right to do that. Also, within this case, there was 2 to 3 jurors that needed to be pulled from the case, and then they ended up getting all of the jurors figured out. So it's looking like the trial is to begin Monday. This upcoming Monday, the trial will begin. And, well, I know everybody's going to be reporting on this because of how tragic it is, because of the situation that it is, because of everything that was going on with Lindsay, because of the overprescribing of prescriptions, and everything else that was going on in this case. So much was going on, right? The great. Am I tired? No, not at all. Nope, not tired at all, guys. I'm actually very interested in all of the information coming out with Adrien Broner, because, like I said earlier in the live, I have followed all of his story, right? So much of it from the beginning to now. And being a 4-time world champ, that takes so much dedication, so much drive. But it's just sad because it's somebody who has had everything in the world, right? Everything that life can offer, all the money, all the materialistic things. But it shows you guys that, yes, money can help you, but guys, it's never going to be the sole factor of why somebody is happy in the end. It might cause temporary happiness, but that temporary happiness is going to fade real quick. And when it does, most people end up more depressed than they were before they even ever had that money, especially if you ever lose that money, like we have seen Adrien Broner do. So we have seen, I say we, but the people have seen Adrien Broner do such amazing things in life, but they have also seen Adrien Broner do some very terrible things in life. So, his life has been ups and downs, and he has gone through trials and tribulations, but many have been caused by himself and his own actions. And it's a sad situation all around. It's a sad situation for the alleged victim. It's a sad situation for Adrien Broner. It's a sad situation for Dean the Great. But a lot of people were telling them, like, you guys can't be doing this. You guys can't be doing that. You know, if you guys are going to have girls in the house, you can't be treating them this way. It's just basic stuff. And I was just talking about this in my last live last night. I was literally just saying this. It's kind of funny because, you know, when I call it God, but you can call it the higher power or spirit or whatever you want to call it. But when that speaks through me and I allow it, like I did last night, I was saying how, you know, if somebody is in a domestic violence situation, to get out right away. And then boom, what happens today? Main character Adrien Broner gets hit with this lawsuit. So, you know, things are just in synchronicity right now. And when life happens like this, and when synchronicities happen, it usually means that things are happening at the exact right time, in the exact right moment, and you're doing the exact right thing. So I believe I am, and I'm going to keep spreading the awareness in all these cases and allowing you guys a look into my life as well at the same time as I share a little bit of what I think about these cases and what I think got these people into these situations along the way. Let's see. All right. The great be trolling. We gonna get you out of here, bud. You come here and troll a little bit, but it's okay. We don't mind. Sometimes it's a little funny. Let's see. Let me read some more comments. Days said you're tired. Well, Days, you know, hopefully you stay for the whole live, but if you don't, I'm sure you'll catch the replay. It's a little constant, you know. But, you know, I knew I'd go live tonight, talk about this as soon as I heard about it, and it had to break the news with you guys. Had to do it. But I hope you guys are having a good night. Also, guys, please like the video and sub up if you haven't yet. Also, guys, I do have a Cash App if anybody does want to help contribute to that, because I've never monetized my channel, and it does help out along the way. And if you do want to, my Cash App's at Zachary Jackson 1. That's ZACHERY Jackson 1. All right, guys, I just thought I'd plug that in there for anybody that does want to help out. But, however, what I appreciate most is you guys just being here, mingling amongst the mix and talking about all these cases as we do each and every time we are live. Also, guys, did you see my new video on Nature Boy? Wow. I think you guys are going to like that one. That case is just insane. But channeling the spirit around Nature Boy and the energy surrounding him when he was, I guess, captivating this cult, because that's the energy that I connected with. And that energy it was extremely dark, but gave me the answers that I was looking for. And the answers that I was looking for with Elijah Bishop, that's the name of Nature Boy, was why did he do what he did? And I think I got a lot of those answers. So you guys are going to have to check that video out. That's the last video I put out on my channel. Remote viewing session results of Elijah Bishop, a.k.a. Nature Boy. What's up, Disney? Welcome in. Nice to see you today. No, those are just drama channels. So we don't talk about those channels here. There's no need for that. Let's see. What up, John? He said, you are famous. Nah, John, I ain't famous. I'm just me, you know. Yes, I do have a gift. Yes, I do have an ability. And I do have the potential to help out so many around the world. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I love doing what I do. And I'm always going to do it. And if I ever fall out of love with helping people and spreading awareness and spreading the knowledge of all these cases, then that's when I might stop. But I don't think that that's going to happen no matter what. But never say never, right, guys? Because life works in mysterious ways, and so does the one above. So the one above. John, John, that's funny. Let's see, Charm. Third time you're live. I looked into Nature Boy last night. Crazy case. I watched your videos. Yeah, that case is something else. Something else, guys. But if you do want to see a lot on that case of Nature Boy, check out the channel called Hood Horrors. Hood Horrors. I didn't say that other word. I'm just playing. But yeah, there's a 50-part documentary on Nature Boy. And that can give you all the details there. So I plugged that in. Shout out to that channel. He put so much work into that series. But what I can say about that is I believe Nature Boy ultimately did what he did, the majority of it, because he never had a family. And I think that he ultimately wanted to bring people down to that level where they had nothing so he could control them, because within his life, he was controlled because he had nothing. You see, sometimes hurt people, right? Other times, hurt people destroy the many. And it's sad. It's sad because a hurt person should become strong once again if they can, and then bring other people's up. They should never go down to other people's levels, because once you get down to that person level, you are raising your vibration to them as well. Day said, Zach, if you were not monetized, then how come in your old channel that we're getting super chats and memberships and you made okay, so I see what you're saying, Dazed, but the reason that I never got that money is because I never monetized the channel. So what happens is if you don't send in your information to YouTube, you never end up getting that money. So I don't know if it goes back to everybody or whatever, or if YouTube has it and then you got to contact them. But yeah, I never got any of that money, not $1. So I figured I'd answer that question. I have answered it in the past as well. But I mean, if you want to ask, I'm an open book. So figure, might as well answer that. Also, YouTube allows you to have the super chats and memberships until and if and when you monetize your channel. But if you don't, that goes away. So yeah. And yeah, it tells you how much money you would make, but like if you don't monetize it, you never get the money. Dave said, just asking. Oh yeah, no problem. Some people don't know how it works on YouTube. No problem. John said, I had a membership on the old channel. Yeah, a bunch of people did. Yeah. But yeah, that's just how it works. But I'm going to make memberships on this channel soon enough. And I will be monetizing this channel when I can, because right now I definitely do need the help, because I'm going through a lot of stuff personally with my situation. I've been very public about my situation with my landlord selling the house. So yeah, we got to find another place, but we're going to find it. Everything will be okay. And I know I'll be good. I've always believed, I've always been a believer in God. I've always had faith. And during my hardest times, something has always worked out no matter what. And it always will, because I'm protected, always have been. And I've always known that, I shouldn't say always, but since I was very young, when you have to survive in a situation where, your father put you in to where you have nothing and you're stranded, I'm not going to get too much into this, but it turns you into a person that's a survivor. But at the same time, it turns you into somebody who's strong. Let's see. John said, I do know how it works. I have a channel. You not telling the truth. No, I definitely am telling the truth. But, it's your right to believe it or not. So it's up to you, man. All right, John. We gonna time you no need to talk about my dad here. We talk about true crime. We ain't talking about family and all that. There's no need for that, especially when you don't know him, and I do. Well, I shouldn't say I know him too much because he walked out, but yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to get too much into that. I always give you guys a little too much of my life sometimes anyways. Let's see. Charm said, Hood Horrors. Yes, yes. This is a true crime channel. Oh my God. I'm following so many channels now. Zach, didn't you see my emails that I sent you last night? There is one in particular you want to see from your live. I saw the I guess I could say ex-fireman, ex-policeman, and ex-paramedic one. Yeah, the guys all in one. And that video, I'm probably going to talk about more once I get more details on, because that situation is absolutely crazy. But thank you for sending me that, Charm. I appreciate that. Also, let's see here. Yeah, if you follow too many channels, just limit some of the others, kind of pick and choose, because you don't want to find too many. You don't want to have too much true crime. And that's coming from someone that covers it. Dave said, to get monetized, you need ID, right? Yep, you definitely do. Unless, yeah, I think you do. I don't know if there's other ways to do it, but I'm pretty sure you need ID. But yeah, anyways, guys, let's get back to what I was talking about before I went on that little side note, because sometimes I like to do that too, because we don't always have to stick right on topic. But I want to talk about Lindsay Clancy, because Lindsay Clancy, now, this is an absolute crazy case. If you guys don't know about it, it's gruesome, guys. So I'm about to tell you guys some gruesome details. So graphic content coming up. If you'd like to check out now's the time to step out the room. But if you guys don't want to, now's the time to listen to some pretty gruesome details. And as so, Lindsay Clancy allegedly unalived her 3 young children, exercise band, in the basement of her house, and then tried to unalive herself by using bladed weapon on herself multiple times, and then jumping out of the second story window, and trying to unalive herself. Now, what I've heard is she's now paralyzed from the waist down. I don't know exactly all the details within that, but that's just what I've heard. Every time we've seen Lindsay now, she's been in a wheelchair. So, that kind of backs up everything that I've heard about everything she's going through with that medical situation. Also, if you guys haven't heard the story, I'll fill you in. Allegedly, she was going through postpartum, as well as depression, for a long time. Depression beforehand, depression after, postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis. And that's why, allegedly, she did all of this. Now, what I have said is, can you be going through all that and still say to your husband, hey, go get this food and plan this all out? Also, she was allegedly now, Lindsay was looking up certain things on her phone, and there has been certain things she put about how she didn't really like her kids. But also, she has reached out in the past to many crisis hotlines. She reached out to, I guess, her psychiatrist, to many different doctors, and she let them know that her unaliving herself, the idea of that was getting worse. So she did put this out there to people within the medical field, and she was letting people know the situation. So it progressively got worse, and then sometimes it would get better. I mean, yeah, it got worse, it would get better, worse. And we now know allegedly what ended up happening in the end. Now, I guess you have to break it down into what you guys really think about everything that I have told you within this case, and if you guys think that she could have stopped this from happening within her right mind. Did she plan this all out, and could she have stopped this in her right mind? Was she in Could she have done that? Or was she really in psychosis from postpartum, going through the depression and all of this, and that's what caused this? Because she is saying, Lindsay is saying, and it's been documented, that she was hearing voices. Allegedly, it was a man's voice, and it was telling her to end the children's lives and send them to God. Now, I know this is really graphic. These are 3 young children we're talking about, and this is a serious situation. So, you know, I hope and pray so much so that the people within this situation can find peace somehow, because this is a situation that would destroy a family. And it's sad that people don't think about what they're doing to the other family members when they cause this, because ending even just one person's life is sending a ripple effect that is unimaginable to other people around the world, or just the family members themselves. So yeah, I just don't know how people don't think about that. But I'm the type of person that constantly thinks about others and has that empathy that is always working, right? If I see someone struggling, I'm going to help them all the time, because it's just my nature. I can't help it. So when I see somebody that doesn't think about the empathy within their own family or the people that would love these people that get hurt, it hurts me in turn, because we are all one. Charm said, no, Zach, I sent you an email at approximately 4:19 a.m. Look at that one. It's important. All right, I'll go back and check it after the live. And also said, Lacey, no excuse for what you did. Justice must be served. Yeah, definitely. Lindsay Clancy. Lindsay, yeah, justice got to be served on that. What's sad is I don't know if it's going to be, ultimately. Like, this is one of those cases that I really don't know the ending of this, but I am definitely going to do more sessions. I am going to try to tap into the energy surrounding the case much more so, and try to get some more answers, because we had a moth fly. I don't know if you guys just saw that. We got a lot of moths here in Massachusetts, but it was just, he wanted some camera time. He's funny. Sorry, guys, that got me off track. Usually it's Dirk is the star of the show, but tonight it was the Mothman. Oh, man, it's funny stuff. But back to the seriousness of this case. And I don't know the details that are going to be shown to the public. Don't know how graphic they're going to be. But one thing I do know is that no matter what, all of these details are basically going to be graphic, because it's a situation that you may be able to hide some of the things, but the totality of it will never be hidden. And the 3 children that lost their lives will never be forgotten. Never. And it's so sad that the way that everything happened, the fact that Lindsay couldn't be placed on the right medication or the right amount of the medication. And apparently she kept changing medications. Doctors kept prescribing her different ones, more of some, different and less of others. So there was a lot going on within the Lindsay Clancy case that I think people need to hear, because it may change your mind on what you think about the whole case. And maybe it doesn't, but at least you will know the graphic details surrounding the case if you so want to. Charm said, yes, I hear you, Zach. Here we go. The lawyer is trying to get her off on mental illness, no doubt. Come on. Oh, Dirk is so cute. I love animals, cats and dogs. Yeah, the mental illness card is definitely afloat here, and it's definitely at the forefront. Now, I am not usually one that is super, I guess, for the insanity or the mental illness thing, or I'm just never one that is really for that in these cases, because I'm like, well, you still took a life, or you still did what you did. But in this situation, I do think Lindsay was going through what she is claiming. So it makes it very difficult for me to, I guess, quote unquote, pick a side, right? Because I feel both things are true. And as I always say on here on this channel, you guys have heard me say it before, two things can be true at once. Two things can definitely be true at once, guys. But what cases are you guys following right now? What is the case that's at the forefront of you guys' mind? What's the case that you guys wake up and you're like, all right, I got to check if there's any answers in this case today? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Charm said, I know people with severe depression. I know people that are bipolar. They take meds. This case with Nick Reiner. Oh, yeah, Nick Reiner as well. Please tell me he will never get out of prison. I will tell you this, Charm. I will tell you this. I think that Nick Reiner is in for a hefty, heavy punishment. Type of punishment that puts that elephant on your chest type of punishment. What up, Shannon? Zach, you unblocked me. Wasn't chatting though. Thought I was still blocked. I'm so blue today. No, I don't think I ever blocked you. I think I timed you out. I don't like blocking people, but maybe I did. I'm not sure. But you super blue today, you said? Well, don't go smurfing around now. I'm just playing. Let's see. But as you were saying, Charm, severe depression is real, and bipolar is super real as well. So, as we know, all of these things need to be taken seriously. But I know people that are going to sit on one side of this fence and one that are going to sit on the other. And it's going to be a tough case when it comes to the Lindsay Clancy case. But what you were saying with Nick Reiner there, Charm, I don't think that Nick Reiner is going to be getting out anytime soon. However, the fact that this happened in California may be his saving grace, unfortunately. That is very unfortunate. Shannon, Zach, do you communicate? No communication here. No antenna. There's no antenna, right? But yeah, guys, so if you guys are just hopping into the live tonight, if you guys are just joining into the live tonight, the breaking news of the night is 4-time world champion boxer, 4-time world champion boxer, Adrien Broner, has been sued now for alleged sexual battery and assault. And guys, this is crazy because Adrien Broner's life has been a roller coaster. He's had certain charges that kind of seem like this before, and there's a lot going on in this case right now. There's a lot going on in this case right now, guys. Let's see. Charm said, that's a hard question, Zach. Several cases I want to see. Madeline Soto's mom do time. Lillian Jack is always on my mind. This needs to be solved. Summer Wells, so many. Yeah, a lot of the parents, they just skeet by for a long time. They don't get in trouble for a long, long time. It's sad. It's very sad. But the thing with the unaliving thing is there's no statute of limitations. So once they get that certain evidence that they are looking for, they will go down. They will go down. Ashen said, is it true, Zach? Summer, no, definitely not true. Summer's awesome. She's never done anything wrong to me, and yeah, I think she's great. But yeah, that's weird that somebody would say that. Shannon said, Summer, oh, that's weird. Well, I don't know what everybody's got going on behind the scenes, but I just want everybody to be respectful here. And all I ask is that, you know, that's really all I ask. Everyone to be respectful. That's all. I got a moth in this house, man. He's going to the lights and stuff. All right, Shannon. But anyways, guys, let's get back to the news. So if you guys don't know Adrien Broner from the boxing world, then you will know him from the streaming world. And if you haven't heard of him at all, that's very surprising because he has been in the limelight basically since he was 6 years old. 6 years old, guys. You know, he's been boxing. He was working hard all his life, trying to be the best that he could be at something. And after he won that title, I feel the devil truly got a hold of him. Now, I think personally, I think the devil works through people, and I think God works through people. I think God works amongst us, and I think the devil does too. Oh man, Shannon, you got a lot of interesting questions. Charm said, "Bye for now, Zach. I need to go. Busy here." Yes, no problem, Charm. Come back if you'd like anytime. You're always welcome. I got love for everyone as long as they're respectful in the chat. That's all I ask, guys. But we're going to be covering tonight the Lindsay Clancy case as well as the Adrien Broner allegations and lawsuit that has now been had and has now been documented. Apparently, this has happened around June 2nd, allegedly, from my sources. That's what my sources are telling me. Around June 2nd in Miami. Now, if this is true, that would mean some of this interaction would most likely have been caught on camera because they were constantly getting videoed 24/7 all the time. So I would think that this person, which I am not going to leak any of the name yet, because I think I know her first name, but I don't know the last name. Don't want to leak anything unless I know it for a fact here, because this is serious allegations. This is something that needs to be taken serious. And the fact that this is happening right now is interesting because Adrien Broner just got $1 million deal, at least $1 million. It might have been multiple M's. So it's interesting. All right, Shannon, I will tell you, I hope you come back. You know, you're always welcome. I just want people to be respectful in the chat. That's all I ask, guys. But anyways, let me read some of these messages. Okay, somebody was sending me messages, information on Nancy Guthrie. Now, I know everybody wants an update on the Nancy Guthrie case. But guys, unless I got some specific, solid information within this Nancy Guthrie case, then there's nothing I can break for you guys, because with this situation right now, there's no solid information that's coming out that's going to change anything, I don't think. Now, do I hope it does? Yes, I'm hoping and praying that it does all the time. I want it to break every single day. That's one of the cases that's on the forefront of my mind. Even though that the Lindsay Clancy case is actually about to start, the trial is about to start now, which will be starting. It's aiming to start Monday of this upcoming week. And you guys know I'll be covering that case, trying to give you guys most of the details as soon as I can. And that's like what I tried to do tonight. As soon as I got the breaking news about Adrien Broner, I came to break it to you guys, because what's the channel name called? You guys know. Fill in that blank right there. You already know. And I try to give it to you guys in real time, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. And also, guys, I do want to talk about another case tonight. Another case that is in the news, has been in the news constantly. Give me 1 second. And that's the case, of Nolan Wells, guys. Nolan Wells. Now, this case is being looked at worldwide. This is worldwide news, and it has a lot of people divided. It has brought some others together. And my message right now for everybody that cares and loves and has any positive thoughts about Nolan Wells, my message for you guys is you need to work together to find the truth, because Nolan would want the truth to come out, and the truth is always going to be exactly that, the truth. It may not be what you want to hear. It may not be the answer you're looking for, but the truth still remains exactly that. The truth still remains the truth. Now, at this time, there's a lot of rumors going on. There's a lot of speculation going on in the case. Some people feel like Nolan shouldn't have been left on that island. Some people feel like Nolan decided he wanted to stay on that island. But he didn't want to be on that island as long as he was. I can almost guarantee that. I think he was left in a very bad predicament. Very bad predicament. Now, question remains, did he get on one of those boats? Did he head back home? And did he end up being placed back near or on Horn Island or around Horn Island? Because let's not forget, he was found at one of the most northwestern, basically, parts of Horn Island. And from the interviews that I've been looking at, from the information that I've gathered, one of Nolan's friends said that Horn Island is about 10 to 11 miles long. So this is a massive island. I know a lot of people thought that this was just some tiny little island that people were hanging out at. No, this is a spot where thousands of people were gathered. Approximately 2,000. I've heard as many as 4,000 were there that day. I'm going to say it was probably in the middle somewhere, but it might have been 2, right? But no matter what, there was thousands of people on that island, and somebody knows what happened to Nolan Wells. There's no way that everybody just left and Nolan ended up passing away on his own. I don't think that, unless everybody abandoned him. And if that's the case, who needs enemies when you got friends like that? Because people that love me and care about me, I would hope they wouldn't leave me in a situation like that. Even if I was not in my right mind, even if I was loud or aggressive or however, I would still hope that my friends would be dragging me off that island in some type of way that wouldn't hurt me, right? But would still keep me safe and would get me home. Because you can't be left in a area with thousands of strangers and everybody is intoxicated, or a lot of people are, because it's been confirmed by one of Warren's close friends, best friend, that they were all drinking, allegedly, and they were having a good time, which on 4th of July, that's what a lot of people do. But when you have people that are underage doing it, when you have maybe people overage providing it for underage people, that's when things start to get tricky. That's when charges could occur. And everybody's wondering right now, who was the boat captain? Was the captain of the boat sipping? Did he have a double cup? Right? So what was going on with him? And I still don't know that. But we've seen in cases before where the captain of the boat ends up getting charged and then more details come out. So I'm wondering if they're going to work that angle at all. But I broke the news. Well, I can't say I broke the news, but I was telling you guys the news that came out that the Nolan Wells independent autopsy came back and he was missing part of his throat. Also, it showed a lot of redness on the back of his neck, back of his head area. It looked like from where you're the middle of your neck or the middle bottom of your neck, and then a little bit up to the middle of your ears area. That's where it looked like the redness was. And that's where they're stating that it was. So that was something that stood out to the person investigating that. So we still don't have answers, though. People are wondering why a piece of the throat was missing. And of course, they're going to wonder that. And I wonder that. But I guess there could be many reasons for that. But on that note, I think we need to talk about how right now there is at least 120,000-ish for any information that leads to an arrest and or a conviction in the case of Nolan Wells. So if anybody out there knows anything important, anything that you think could lead to an arrest or a conviction in the case regarding Nolan Wells, please reach out to the line that they have, the number that they have. Please leave that information with them, because it could change the outcome of this situation, and it could allow more healing. And ultimately, that's what we want for family members of the victims. We want healing. We want people to be able to process this as best they can. And in this case, I know a lot of people were hurt surrounding the unfortunate unaliving of Nolan Wells. Not only his family, but I know he had some real friends out there. I know he did. And if they all weren't on Horn Island, they were out there somewhere, and they're hurting right now because they don't know what to think. They don't know what to believe. And when people pass away and they're in that transitioning phase, or they're in that phase crossing over, they want the truth to come out, I believe. Now, that's my opinion. But in a case like this, where it's dividing so many people and it's causing so much anger, and people are upset, going through grief, and just ultimately they don't know what to think, it drives people mad. And I think Nolan ultimately wants the truth to come out. So if anybody out there has any information, definitely share it, because it could change the lives of the loved ones of Nolan Wells. But now, guys, I want to get back to talking about the Adrien Broner situation with Dean the Great. For the people that don't know, they have formed a group called the Crash Out Boys, COB. And they even got the tattoos. Matching tattoos. They've been dressing up. They've been looking like clones of one another for the past few months now. They've been doing their thing, though. They got that kick deal. They secured that money. But I think this is going to be very difficult for sponsorships now to endorse Adrien Broner. And, when you get to a certain level, they do send people at you to destroy you, whether it's what you want to call it, agents, or if it's, whatever you want to call it, right? Somebody that's going rogue, an undercover spy, those type of things, or people that are just there to cause chaos. In this situation, you've probably heard about a person named Ray J, right? That One Wish song. Well, people were saying, was Ray J sent there as an agent of chaos? Because whenever you see Ray J, you see some chaos going on. Now, I don't know if Ray J is or was that agent of chaos, but what I do know is that whatever the atmosphere is over in that area isn't good. And if I was their PR person, or if I was somebody close in their camp, their best friend, one of their friends, I would have told them a long time ago, they need to switch up their ways, and they need to do right, get on the right path, show people that the world needs to respect women, because they do, they should. Women are the reason we're here, and they need to be treated with respect. And that's it. They should never be treated as less than or anything bad. They should be treated with the utmost respect. And they weren't doing that, at all. They were using the B word a lot, cussing all the time, putting them down, offering them money, right, to allegedly to do certain acts, right? And you guys can put that together. So I know I'm saying a lot here, and I know this may be a lot to hear, but there was a lot going on during this streaming situation. And they're on Kick, right? And you know what's also on Kick? A lot of children are seeing this. So a lot of the younger generation, of course, is going to look up to Adrien Broner, because what is he? 4-time world champ. And people know him as that. They look at him in the boxing world. In the boxing world, he's looked at as like a god, right? Because he's done something that I don't know if anybody has ever done that, right? In the certain weight classes that he did it. So in the boxing terms, he's looked at like that. You know, did I ever look at him like that? Heck no. You know, I'm a believer in God, you know, Jesus, and you know, that's my God. That's my higher power. That's who I get my faith from. And that's the only one, right? Well, I can't say that too, because my mom instilled faith in me, but you know, she's a godly woman as well. So, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, somebody should have pulled Adrien Broner aside, and somebody should have pulled Dean the Great aside and tell them, guys, you guys need to figure this out. You guys need to start changing your ways, because if you don't, all of this is gonna fail. The ship is gonna sink, you know, the car gonna crash, and the situation is gonna unfold as it is now. Now, my question is, are more women gonna come out? Are more people gonna start pressing the issue? Are we gonna hear about this more often now with Adrien Broner? Or are we gonna hear something that comes out with Dean the Great? I don't know. Only time will tell. You know, but what happens in the dark, it always comes to light. And unfortunately, every time Adrien Broner feels like he's on top, something happens to bring him back down. And I don't know why that is. It seems like he's his own worst enemy. Because if I had in life, you know, even a 50th of what he had when it comes to the materialistic side, I would have turned it into a lifelong, lifelong way of having money, because you invest in that, right? You get that interest, right? That 5% or whatever, you know, even more than that. Then that money grows, and you don't even have to do anything with it. You know, little money tip for everybody out there. Of course, I ain't got money like that, so I can't get that interest. But you know, ultimately, it's a sad situation for everyone involved, and it's a sad situation for everybody that looks up to Adrien Broner. Now, do I think that Adrien Broner will be banned from Kick from this? No, I don't. I don't think he will. I'll say this. I think a lot of times Kick has supported and or provided a platform for people that have done or been accused of a lot of crazy stuff. And I don't think it's going to stop here with Adrien Broner and Dean the Great. Now, I was going to make a video on the duo Adrien and Dean. I was going to make a video on the Crash Out Boys a while ago, because in the streaming world, everybody was starting to know them, because they were streaming with people like Ray J, people like Sauce Walka. If you don't know him, he's a rapper as well. His father was, I think, in the wrestling world. I'm not sure what the title of the wrestling company that he was with back then, but I think it was like the WWE or WWF, something like that. So they've been streaming with people that have been plugged in for a long time now. And I think that that's going to continue for a while. And do I think more charges are going to get filed on Adrien Broner or Dean the Great? I'll say this. I think yes. I think more something else is coming. I don't think that this is the end, unfortunately. Of course, I don't want anything else to happen, because I don't want nobody else to ever be hurt by anyone in the world. You know, you should never have to go through situations like this. But it's sad because, like I said, they needed to have the right people around them, because they were having security guards around them constantly. They were being protected in certain ways, but what they didn't have was the right people in place to tell them when they were effing up in a situation like this. And maybe they did, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people were trying to. Maybe they did pull him aside and tell him, "Hey man, you're going crazy right now. You need to treat her right." Maybe they did that. And if they did, and then he continued and he didn't ultimately fix the problem, then that's, either way, it's a problem that's inside of himself that he needs to figure out, because the pattern is there. And I'm not the only one that's been able to point out this pattern within Adrien Broner's life. The court has pointed this out, and people that are on the outside looking in have pointed it out. And if we can point that out, then the people around him should be able to point it out too. So I think that there's going to be more things in the future that end up happening. And ultimately, I hope nobody else gets hurt in this situation. But everything in this video is alleged, only my opinion, and everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And we talk about a lot of crazy stuff tonight, but we're going to venture back into the Lindsay Clancy case again, because the question of the night is Lindsay Clancy guilty? And could she have stopped what ended up happening? Was this premeditated? We have a lot of questions of the night here tonight on this channel here at Real Time True Crimes. But tonight, that's a good thing about it, is we got a lot of time. We got a lot of time to discuss these cases, and ultimately we got a lot of time to see what you guys have on your minds when it comes to these cases. But there's been a lot going on, and we're getting a lot of news. For a little while ago, it was the Mackenzie Shirilla case. So it was like Nancy Guthrie was getting all the coverage, then Mackenzie Shirilla was getting a lot of the coverage, and now it has switched again. So hopefully justice gets served ultimately. And I know one way or the other, it will. One of the questions is, has it already been served? Because Lindsay Clancy is allegedly paralyzed from the waist down. That's what I've heard. I know she's been in a wheelchair every time I've seen her in court. I know that in her pictures, she looks absolutely different, even in just her eyes, than she did years prior. Something snapped within her. And I know that. I can see that, right? Yes, looks can be deceiving, but you can just look at her demeanor and know that something isn't right within her. Did it happen? How long did it happen, though, prior to these events occurring? Did it ultimately happen? Was this something that was going on for months, years, or did this recently happen and then she snapped just like that? But one thing we do know, unfortunately, is the three children will never be able to grow up, and they'll never be able to experience life like they should have been. And that's just so saddening. Lives should not be taken like that. But Lindsay did say that she was hearing voices, and that a voice told her to do it and told her to send them to God, allegedly. So we were never there. We could never witness what happened. We can't go back in time on it. I can remote view. I can try to get the energy surrounding the case, or surrounding Lindsay, or people surrounding the case in general, right? So I can try to pull the most information I can to try to make sense of everything that happened. But truly, this is an insane event that happened from somebody who I believe was going through postpartum, was going through the psychosis, had the depression, had expressed the signs, had let people know that she was having the self-unaliving thoughts, letting people know that it was getting worse and the thoughts and feelings were coming back. So it was documented, and the medications were switched, the medications were altered, upped, changed. And ultimately what happened was 3 lives were lost on that fateful day, where prosecutors are alleging Lindsay sent her husband to go get food and looked up exactly how long it would take for the sole reason and sole purpose to end her children's lives and to then end her own. So this case is going to get gruesome. And that is why Lindsay's ex begged the judge to not allow the gruesome details to be shown to the public. So we'll see how much gets shown to the public. And ultimately, that is the judge's decision. I hope he makes the best one for not only Lindsay, but for the case and for the people that are surrounding the case as well. Hopefully, it's the best interest of the case, though, because ultimately that's what we're there for. That's what we need to hear, is what Lindsay will be sentenced to, what she will get found, if she will be found guilty or innocent, and so forth. But yeah, guys, so I wanted to update you on those cases and another. Oh, hold on 1 second. We're getting an update here. Give me 1 second, guys, to check this message. Hold on. All right, sorry. I was reading something someone sent me. But anyways, guys, we got to cover the Lindsay Clancy case. And once again, the trial is expected to start Monday of this upcoming week. That is going to be crazy. There's going to be so much media covering this case, wanting to know what's going to happen with Lindsay Clancy. Now, another thing I want to talk about tomorrow is I want to discuss with you guys the Charlie Kirk case, Tyler Robinson, yes, that case. I didn't get to discuss that case with you guys today because we were here discussing it with you tonight. The Lindsay Clancy case, that is. Hold on 1 second. I'm getting a message. All right, sorry. Had to read that real quick. But yes, as I was saying, I'll be covering the Tyler Robinson case. That'll be tomorrow. Wasn't able to get on to that case too much today, but I'll be researching the information surrounding that case. And hopefully I'm able to cover that case for you guys tomorrow. But if any information breaks, any major information breaks within these other cases, you know I'll be here first to report it to you guys as well. I've been staying up, trying to figure out information regarding the Lynette Hooker case, because the people that are close to me, the sources that are close to me, that are telling me the information, they're saying that that indictment is coming for Brian Hooker. And I believe them. I have no reason to doubt these sources. And then people higher up that I've noticed are also saying that. So it's got to be coming. The question is, how soon is it going to happen? And ultimately, what evidence do they have? Because they got to have that evidence. It's got to be, without a reasonable doubt. So we'll see what happens in the future regarding that case as well. And I will be giving you guys an update tomorrow on Gus Lamont. So as well as the Tyler Robinson case, I will also be discussing the Gus Lamont case as well, because people are wanting an update on that case. And you guys know I've been giving you guys updates on that case the whole time that I've been covering that case. Every time there's been an update, I've been right there with you guys. And the last one that I saw was the time where I think her name is, excuse me if I get it wrong, Josie Murray, the grandmother of Gus Lamont, shoved that reporter. And if you guys haven't seen that, it's on YouTube. Give us a little nudge with the arm over there. Reporter falls down, causes a big scene there. And that was after the case where she was there for the weapon enhancement, right? And After that, that anger came out. And what did I tell you guys? I said that in this case with Gus Lamont, it's going to be somebody that has an anger problem. And that somebody is going to show the public that anger problem. And what have they done? I believe they've exposed it. And I think that the people investigating that, law enforcement investigating the Gus Lamont case, I think they know who has done it too by now. I would hope so, because I basically knew that within the first week or two of covering that case. And hopefully they got some evidence, right? Because obviously it's not like how we do it here. Here, I work off intuition. I work off the psychic ability. I work off the feelings, right? They understandably work off the evidence that they can prove and provide to prosecute the case ultimately and get somebody convicted. So that's the update I'll be having for you guys tomorrow. We'll be updating the Gus Lamont case as well as the Tyler Robinson case. And once again, Lindsay Clancy, that trial is expected to begin and be underway Monday, this upcoming Monday. And if you guys haven't saw and you haven't heard yet and you're just joining in, please like the video and sub up if you haven't. Also, guys, the main topic of this video has been Adrien Broner, because Adrien Broner allegedly, well, I can't even say allegedly because he is being sued for sexual battery and assault, allegedly is what they're claiming that he did. And I'll be giving you guys more details as it comes out in the near future. Four-time world champ Adrien Broner. But a lot of the kids only know Adrien Broner as a streamer. So that's pretty crazy as well. But he was just getting back all the money that he was making. He was just getting back that popularity. He was just getting his name back, you know, because no matter what, he's always going to be a four-time world champ. But sometimes when other things supersede your accomplishments, that's when things get grimy. That's when things don't get good, you know. Welcome back, Charm. Welcome back, Charm. Also, I did check your email, and I got your back 100%. So no worries there. No worries there. So yeah, you don't even need to question that. Anybody that has my back, I got your back, because I look at people that support me in chat or just support what I'm doing, the movement that I'm doing. I look at y'all like a family, you know. I try to treat people with the utmost respect, and ultimately I just want everybody to be happy, be treated with respect, and ultimately have a good time in the chat and cover these cases, find this information with me, and hopefully you guys find it useful and are able to spread awareness as well. Yeah, Charm, I just got that one. That's the one, I think. Hold on, let me look, see if there's another one. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it's the last one you sent me. Yep. That's the last one. I think I'm going to make some food after. I'm pretty hungry. I love this black shirt, though. I look so good in it. Sorry. I'm not trying to be too vain. You said you just sent it a few minutes ago. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, right? Right? I didn't reply to it, but I'm replying it to you now, letting you know that I always got your back. But yeah, guys, so everything else I think that I want to discuss will be saved for tomorrow. Well, the majority of it. We talked about a lot tonight. But one case that I didn't talk about that I want to talk about just a little bit before I hop off here tonight is the David case. Yes, the David case. D4vd, that is. Ultimately, that case has turned into such a graphic, gruesome case. And it is so sad that allegedly what Celeste Rivas Hernandez had to go through, because she was, in my opinion, lured to her torture and to her unaliving. Charm said, okay, good. Please read it carefully. Okay, I'll make sure to check it out again when I hop off here, and I'll reply to you on it on there. That way, yeah, you know that I checked it out. But yeah, I think I got the message there. But anyways, guys, so what I want to talk about the David case and what I wanted to discuss within the David case is I want to talk about how they are saying that David used air fresheners to try to block the smell. Guys, whether that, and this is going to get a little gory and gruesome, but no matter where the body was, they weren't going to be covering that smell up unless the body was frozen and never unfroze. And I don't even know if that could fully stop the smell, right? So basically, no matter where the body was, that smell was going to be there. And if David just tried to put air fresheners within the car or within the home or wherever they're talking about, that wasn't going to stop that at all. So we were dealing with somebody here who thought they were a genius, thought they were a mastermind, but they were also just a completely delusional, dumb person that was sick and twisted, psychotic, sociopathic, and narcissistic. Somebody that carried out a fantasy that he had, I believe, of this torture, of this sickness, but also decided he wanted to get rid of Celeste at the same time, because David had a lot to lose if Celeste started talking. But the thing is people already knew or already started to find out at the time that Celeste was underage. But not only just underage by a year or two, she was 12 years old or around that age when they met or when they allegedly started to have a sexual relationship. Okay. Now, this is absolutely sickening. But since people started to find out that this was going on with David, he realized that the only way, in his mind, he thought, in his sick, twisted, demented mind, he thought the only way to solve this was to, quote unquote, eliminate her for good. And I don't know how he thought that was going to do anything besides get him in life in jail or the penalty, and ultimately ruin Celeste's life as well as her family's. I don't know how these people can think the way that they do and think that they're just going to get away with everything in the end. Charm, oh, the David case, wow, so sick. Yeah, it's messed up. Also, Charm said, I agree. He's a psychopath for sure. Poor Celeste. Wasn't she only 14 years old? That poor girl. And Kelly said, yikes. Yeah, yikes it is, right? And Charm, yeah, the age that she passed, oh man, it was either 13 or 14. I don't know off the top of my head, but she was super young. But I know they met when she was like 12 years old. So this had been going on for a while. People were starting to speak out about it. They were starting to ask questions. And David realized that he was in too deep because he was going to be looked at as a pedo, right? I know I'm saying that word wrong. I'm saying it on purpose for YouTube guidelines. But anyways, he was going to be looked at as that. And it was going to ruin his career, ruin his endorsements, and ruin his name that he thought he worked so hard for. But let me just tell you something, David. People worked a heck of a lot harder making their name and never done anything like you did or anything like you were doing at the time. Now, that doesn't go for a lot of people in the industry because a lot of people in the industry are sick and demented and twisted as well. But some of them aren't, right? So yeah, I know I got a little on a rant there, but the case with David just gets me fired up because he did so much wrong in that case that he could never make it right. You know, he might be able to repent and maybe he could save himself, right, from that eternal damnation, but that'll be up to him. That'll be up to him to get right with God in the end. But one thing he can never get right is the fact that he took away Celeste's life, allegedly at this time. And the breaking news yesterday was that apparently there's more video footage that links David to the Tesla the last time that Tesla was driven. Now, Steve Fisher released a video image of that Tesla going really fast and going by a screen. And he said that it looked like somebody that had different features than David. I think he described the person as looking like they were, I think he said they were like tannish. They had long hair. He basically said somebody that didn't look like David. And come to find out, this video footage that's allegedly out there is now linking the incident to David even more so. Now, I brought up the question, is it the Tesla that is this video footage, or is it a house that had this footage? I think personally it's the Tesla, because if this was a high-end, newer Tesla, like I believe it was, I have no reason to believe it's not. People have been telling me that they record everything. And if that's the truth, well, then they probably recorded David doing what he was doing and driving that car. Maybe not the whole unaliving, obviously, but the bringing Celeste in there into the bags that he used and then driving the car and getting out of the car. Maybe they have that video footage. And if they have that, well, he's absolutely cooked even more so than he was originally. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that a little bit too before I hopped off here. I know you guys had a lot of questions about the Celeste Rivas Hernandez situation. And it's so sad that she didn't get to experience life. That's the saddest part, is you see somebody that had a bright future ahead, but somebody along the way decided to be a demon and decided to completely throw that person off their the path that they could have been on, right? It could have been a good path. It could have been a path of light. And let's not forget that David apparently allegedly comes from the choir. Apparently he was singing in the church choir before all the fame. Now you guys can go back and look that up for yourselves. It's on the internet. You guys can check that out. That's the information that I gathered. Now, how long was he doing that? I'm not sure. But it seemed like he started to use the powers that he was given by God, I believe. He was starting to use those for the negative instead of the positive. Because he could have been, let's say he takes a different path. Let's say he becomes a Christian rapper or something like that, or a Christian singer, gospel singer. And let's say he's able to provide for his family that way. Well, then he may have been on a completely different path. He may have not met any of the people that he surrounded himself with. And it could have changed everything. You know, something like the butterfly effect a little bit. I know a lot of people have seen that movie. That's one of my favorite movies, The Butterfly Effect. If you haven't saw that, the original Butterfly Effect, check that movie out tonight, guys. You guys will love that movie. You guys know I always put you on with good shows or good movies. And right now I'm watching a show called Ruthless. You guys should check that one out too. Especially if you have ever watched any of the situations with like the Nature Boy situation or the Jim Jones situation or anything like that. I think you guys would like Ruthless. I'm fascinated by that stuff because people use such interesting messages for such destruction and such heinousness and savageness. And it's so sad because if a person like that could just lead people with good intentions, with a good, pure heart, then things would be so different. But what these cult leaders do is, and I'm talking about the Jim Joneses, I'm talking about Nature Boy. What they do is they use whatever power they have for negative influence, and they change it, right? And if they could just be a good person, if they could just use it for good and lead these people through the light, that would be a better instance. That would change everything. But it seems like people get this power and then they don't know what to do with it. They start being who they really are. They start being the negative in the world instead of the positive. Charm said, that's a good movie. My husband loves The Butterfly Effect. We should watch that one again. Did you watch Orphan yet? I know you will like that movie. I don't think I watched it yet, Charm. I'm not sure if I did. I don't think I did still. I'm going to have to write that down. Give me a second. There's a case that I'm looking into too that somebody suggested as well, but let me write down Orphan. I may have saw it when I was younger, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to have to go back and check it out. But that's really cool that your husband loves The Butterfly Effect. You guys should watch it again. It's a classic. And nothing beats the original one, that's for sure. Just like the original Exorcist. That was my favorite movie as a kid. But anyways, guys, so we got about 15 more minutes here. I'm going to hang out with you guys for about 15 more. And anything you have, any questions you have amongst these cases, feel free to fire them away at me, ask away. Any other cases that you have on your mind, feel free to leave a comment below. If you guys haven't liked the video yet or subbed up, I'd recommend doing it, but that's all up to you. I would appreciate it as well. And if you want to donate, my Cash App is at Zachary Jackson 1. That's ZACHERY Jackson 1. All right, guys. But anyways, let me read Charms. Watch The Town with Ben Affleck. I think it's a 2010 movie. If you like bank robbery movies, I love it. I love the action. Oh, yeah, I've seen The Town. Shout out to The Town. That's an OG movie right there. I love that movie. It's a classic, too. It's a newer classic, but it's still a classic to me. But, yeah, that's definitely a grade A bank robbery classic movie. But yeah, the next show that I'm going to be watching again it's called Lioness, and it's basically like a war movie. I mean, a war show. It's starting its third season. I think the third season's already out. But I've watched the first two seasons, and after Ruthless, I'm going to start watching Lioness again. But yeah, if you guys haven't checked that out and you like action, I would check out Lioness. Perfect movie and perfect fitting name. Hold on, let me see if my cat's at the door real quick. Give me 1 second. Nope, I thought he was, but he wasn't. It was funny. I think it was like yesterday morning or the day before, but yeah, I think it was the day before. I heard these owls or owl, and I told this story the other night. Yeah, it was the day before yesterday in the morning. But yeah, I heard these owls, and it was so weird. At first, I didn't know what it was. My cat was all spooked out too. It was funny because he's like, "What the heck?" But he ran right in, and then he's just like looking up, all spooked out. But yeah, I don't know what I heard, but it wasn't a dirk. No dirk. Charm said, a friend is telling me to watch The Madison. Yes, The Madison is so good. That is such a good show. You have to watch that. Also, if you haven't watched Dutton Ranch yet, check that out. Dutton Ranch is amazing as well. Yeah, those are great shows. Great shows. Also, if I know a lot of people have probably already heard of this one, but if you haven't, Landman. Landman is super good. Charm also said, did you see The Unchosen? Only season 1, you will like it. No, I haven't seen that. Let me write that down. I'll check that out. Yeah, I'll check that out too, Charm. Let me see something real quick. All right. Sorry, I wanted to check something out real quick. One second. Okay. Anyways, guys, so back to what I was originally talking about within these cases. I kind of want to go over everything we talked about tonight because I know there's some people that are just joining in that haven't heard everything. So I'll give you a little bit of rundown, a little bit of recap on what we talked about tonight. We talked about the Adrien Broner situation, the breaking news that happened with Adrien Broner, with AB. You know, he used to be called About Billions, and Dean the Great. You know, they're streamers now. Got into a situation. He's being sued for sexual battery and assault. You know, and it's a situation that allegedly stems from an incident around June 2nd in Miami. Also, we talked about the case of Lindsay Clancy and how there was some jurors removed, but then they figured it out, and the trial is set to be underway and begin Monday of this upcoming week. So that's big news regarding the Lindsay Clancy case. I know everybody wants to know what's going to happen with that case. Was she really suffering from postpartum? People are asking. Was it really psychosis, depression? Was she going through it? Did the medical industry supply her with too many substances and too many different ones, and increases, decreases, multiple medications? So there's a lot of questions going on in that case as well. Also, we just briefly talked about the David case and briefly talked about the Nancy Guthrie case. Now, in the David case, the details are super gruesome. We talked about how the family is in there, how they were warned about if they wanted to be looking at the photos or not. They all did. The mother was the only one to put her hand over her face a little bit and kind of wince, which that's entirely expected. They are extremely strong for even looking at any of the photos. They are extremely strong for just being there. And, you know, it's amazing that they have the strength to even go through this, because anybody that has gone through something similar, losing a child, losing a loved one, it's absolutely heartbreaking, and it takes a lot of strength to be in the public eye. But they're being strong for Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So we talked about the David case a little bit, and we briefly discussed the Nancy Guthrie case, but not too much because there's not too much news. The only thing that's in the news right now in that case is talking about the ransom notes. But we don't even know if the ransom notes are real or not, you know? So they're talking about those again. But at least that's keeping the case in the limelight. And at least it's giving the world the attention. At least it's giving the case the attention that should be had, you know, showing it to the world. Now, could the family be doing more in the Nancy Guthrie case? Yes, they could. The question becomes, do certain members of the family want to do more? They should, but are they? Doesn't seem it. It does not seem it. Charm, you will like Unchosen as you like true crime. All right, sweet. I'm going to actually make a note next to it that is true crime. True crime related. Thank you. And Charm said definitely they should do more for their mom. Yeah, they should. You know, I hope if I have children or, you know, family members, if anything ever happened to me, knock on wood, God forbid, but I hope that they would do more than that, because it's appalling what they have done and what they haven't done. But, you know, I can only give you guys how I feel about it, my opinion. I can only give you guys the results of my remote viewing sessions, and I can only tap into the energy that spirit allows me to. So ultimately, every case is different, and they've handled it a very interesting way, I will say. Now, we didn't talk about the Ohio 16 House of Horrors case, though. We didn't talk about that. So hopefully I'll be able to give you guys an update on that case tomorrow as well. And the only other thing I discussed was the Nature Boy case. We talked about that a little bit. I talked to you guys about how Nature Boy ultimately, I believed he did this because he didn't have a family and he wanted to bring people down to that level of needing somebody, of ultimately needing him. And he broke these people. He promised these people that he would cure them of the diseases, and then ultimately he starved them. He made a woman stop taking her medication because she was there, and ultimately she passed away, heart medication that she was on for years. So I'm just giving you guys a little bit of the rundown of the cases that we discussed tonight, and that is the Nature Boy case. If you guys haven't heard about that case, check it out. You can check out the remote viewing session results video I did in my video on YouTube on my page. And also, if you guys are interested in more on that case of Nature Boy, it's on Hood Horrors. And you guys can check that out. It's a 50-part series. So he goes in depth like crazy in that series, guys. Let's see. Charm, it's a different twist, no doubt. The Unchosen, but yes, you will like it. And also, I can't say too much to give it away. Yes, don't give it away now. Thank you. I appreciate it, though, showing me or telling me a different show. I'm always interested in tuning into new shows. I can't wait for Survivor to come back on. Can't wait. My goal is to still go on that show one day. That is still one of my goals. And I will achieve it. Anything I set my mind to, I will achieve. It's just going to take some time. But timing is everything. Timing is of the essence. Charm said, oh, by the way, there's another House of Horrors as well. Clutch covered this, but I don't have the name. I'll look into this. One of the children were sleeping on a pizza box. No. Damn, that's sad. That's sad. Bugs could have been in that box. Man, how can you just allow that to happen? But yeah, let me know about that, Charm. If it's something that I connect with, I'll cover it. But yeah, I will say this, Charm, is that with the original Ohio House of Horrors, the 16 children one, apparently, for the people that don't know, I want to bring this to the forefront because a lot of people don't know. Elizabeth Siders is currently pregnant. A lot of people don't know this. People are wondering. People didn't know. So I just want to bring that to the forefront again, that is the news that is out there. Also, with the video that is out there, with everybody being brought into the jail and Elizabeth wasn't cuffed and everybody else was restrained, people thought that was pretty interesting. And I think that they're going to use one of the family members against one of the others. That's what I see happening. Now, if they don't, they don't, but that's kind of the feeling I'm getting. Charm said it's awful. I think she has 3 children. I will look into this. Again, so sad. And Charm, like you're saying, with how she has 3 children possibly, and just think about how Elizabeth and Gary Jr. had 5 times that amount, right? Plus 1. So just think of the chaos that could have caused and how just messy and dirty they were living, It's so sad. And apparently, for the people that don't know, 2 children definitely, but possibly 3 children were so close to being unalived. And investigators think that if they didn't get there at the time they did, within days, 2 of the children may have passed away. They had to be, I think, life-flighted to a different area in a different hospital to save the children. So this is a crazy case. And that's the case of Elizabeth Siders, Gary Siders Jr., Gary Siders Sr., and then the grandmother. I always forget her name, but the 4 people that were arrested in that case and charged. Now, the case is crazy, and I'll give you guys an update on the case tomorrow as well. More updates on that case. Charm said, yes, this is a record, I think. Who had 18 children? So sad. A set of twins passed premature at hospital, I think, due to lungs not properly developed. Yes, I actually heard that 2 sets of twins may have passed away. 1 confirmed, but possibly 2. So sad. You know, it's so sad. I don't know the plan that they had. Like, what could have been their plan? Let's say they actually did want this big family. Elizabeth has already stated on the record that she did want a big family, but not this big. Now, what could they have been able to do to actually support the family? Because it seemed like Gary Siders Sr. is almost incompetent after the stroke he has had. And it seems like his wife wasn't probably going to take charge. And if Elizabeth ever did want to work and Gary Siders was doing DoorDash, Gary Siders Jr., there would be nobody to watch that many children. And they damn sure couldn't pay for a sitter for all those children. So there's no way they could have done anything to get out of the situation, I firmly believe. They would have needed a miracle to, and actually the miracle that they got may have been getting arrested, because now the children are going to be taken care of. And from what I heard is the county approved $1 million for the children, like to make sure they're in certain homes and make sure they're all like, you know, taken care of appropriately in the time being. So that's what I heard. But yeah, I just think that the miracle was the fact that they got arrested, and the children will be saved. They will be now taken to a place where they can be looked after, where they will be looked after, and hopefully where the foster homes and parents can treat them like the blessing that children are truly. You know, they truly are a blessing of this earth, and they need to be cherished and treated as such, not locked or not stationed in a very little room. Because even if the room's big, even if it's a bigger room, let's not forget there's 16 children. So no matter how big the room is, it's going to feel small, you know? And I saw the area and it just looked so unkept, so nasty. And the children had to have bugs all over them, you know, especially at night too. And it's just terrible to think about, you know? Oh man, just terrible. You know, if I get a freaking spider on me, I'm like, oh no, I don't like small things. Like I don't like ants, spiders, none of that stuff. So I couldn't imagine living that way. Just couldn't, you know, and I don't look down on anyone because I know people go through tough times and you shouldn't kick people when they're down. But let's just be honest here. They could have changed this outcome a long time ago. You know, if 10 years ago they were like, okay, we don't need any more kids, we're not going to have any more kids, they could have done that, but they didn't. So now they have to suffer the consequences of the situation they caused. Question is Elizabeth a victim? And I know that that's the question that's going to be asked during this whole process. At this time, I believe that in the beginning she was a victim, but then as time went on, I believe that she allowed things to happen. So that's the way I see it. That's just my opinion, though. I know many people may think differently, and that's okay. You know, I like to engage in these discussions. Charm said, can you imagine? I can't. Oh my God, with my siblings and arguments, insane. But yes, no one cleaning anything or throwing anything out. Yeah, you know, and they weren't let outside, allegedly. So they were always stuck arguing inside, and there was just excrement everywhere. Number 1 and 2, allegedly. When people walked by that house, they could smell it from you know, multiple feet away, right? From 10, 15 feet away, they could still smell it. And even more than that, it was being reported. Certain investigators said it looked like a third world country, and it looked like the children were feral. So, you know, they weren't holding their tongues when they were talking about this case. Investigators were not holding their tongues. We got a lot of information out right away, as we should, because no children should be suffering like that. That is devastating. But we'll be talking more about that case tomorrow. We'll be talking more about the Tyler Robinson case, and we'll be talking more about the Lindsay Clancy case. But I'm going to wrap this one up. We'll be talking more about all of these cases tomorrow and much more. And if we get any breaking news and something big and something major, because I can feel it, I can sense it, something big is coming in one of these cases. But the big news of the day is Adrien Broner getting sued for sexual battery and assault. Let's see. Charm said, yes, the one son saw grass one time. He wanted to go outside to see the grass. Such abuse. Poor children. Wow. That's so sad. He just wanted to see the grass, man. That's so sad. They went through so much abuse. Thank God they're away from those evil people. And also, guys, people wanted to know, what was that mark that they saw on Elizabeth's arm? Many people are thinking it could be an injury or a prior injury. To me, it looks like one of two things, or it could be two things at the same time. It looks to me like it was a restraint mark, but I don't think she has it on the other hand, so that's strange. Also, it could be a mark that is used for when somebody is abusing substance. They call it a tie-off. And in that area, I wouldn't doubt it, because Elizabeth seemed like she was in an environment where there was a lot of substance abuse, a lot of alcoholism. So maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But we know one thing. Those children were being abused, were being neglected, and ultimately were not being taken care of in any vicinity. So it's tragic. It's sad. And also, I saw the picture of Gary Jr.'s car, Gary Sider Jr.'s car, and he was doing DoorDash in that thing. And that thing looked like it wasn't even a car. It looked like it was a mold mobile. So for everybody that got DoorDash through Gary Siders Jr., man, you should get your refunds. But all right, guys, I want to wrap it up here. So we're going to finish the live right here. I appreciate everybody tonight. Thank you guys for being here with me. And we'll be back tomorrow covering the case. I'm not sure what time I'll be live tomorrow, but I will update you guys tomorrow and let you know. But all right, guys, as the saying goes, come on, you guys, you know how it goes. And if you don't, well, you're about to find out. It goes a little something like this. Without you guys, there'd be no me. I love you guys. It's Zach. Peace.